Hello, everyone, once again. Welcome to our today's webinar. Its name speaks for itself. Conquer the e-mobility market with the TFT100 and FMB930 trackers. My name is Elena. I'm a project development coordinator. Also, there is the e-mobility devices group project coordinator, Ignas. Hi, Ignas.
Hello.
And Mantas, basic devices group project coordinator. Hi, Mantas.
Hello.
Okay, so let's start. So, our agenda for today's webinar is the following. We prepared this webinar with global e-mobility market insights, TFT100 and FMB930 trackers, tech highlights, use cases, and success stories to help you better understand how to benefit from using these trackers and what values they bring. We will wrap up the webinar with a live Q&A session where our experts, Ignas and Mantas, will answer your questions about the products, features, and implementation. So don't hesitate to leave your questions in the Q&A tab below. Let's start. First of all, what do we mean by e-mobility? E-mobility is the principle of using electric propulsion for a wide range of transportation and machinery types, such as e-scooters, e-bikes, e-lifts, street e-sweepers, and so on. Please note that we do not include e-cars into the notion of e-mobility in our presentation. So, according to the recent research, the global e-mobility market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of more than 27% by 2028. European e-mobility market is expected to grow at more than 35% by 2028. Even though Asian region dominated the global e-mobility market in 2022, Europe shows the strongest growth potential. So, why electric vehicles are slowly but steadily taking over the petrol ones? Let's briefly compare electric two-wheelers as opposed to petrol two-wheelers. So, the first point here is environmental impact. E2Vs are more environmentally friendly as compared to petrol 2Vs, since they produce zero tailpipe emissions during operation. Next is running costs. So E2Vs have lower running costs than petrol 2Vs. Electricity is generally cheaper than gasoline on a per mile basis. Third one is technological advancements. So, of course, both E2Vs and petrol 2Vs have seen advancements in technology, but E2Vs are constantly improving in terms of battery capacity, charging speed, and overall performance, and so on. Government incentives. So many governments offer incentives such as tax breaks, subsidies, and reduced registration fees to promote E2V adoption. Infrastructure development. So governments and private companies have been working on expanding the charging infrastructure for E2Vs to make them even more practical for everyday use. So, to sum it up, we can observe that individuals and businesses alike choose environmentally friendly alternatives of transport, meaning that companies need efficient solutions to optimize the operation of their electric fleet. Now, let me shed more light on the market segmentation based on the vehicle types. Let's begin with E2Vs, or in other words, electric two-wheelers, like e-scooters, e-bikes, e-mopeds, and e-motorcycles. For example, the Indian two-wheeler industry posted a year-on-year double-digit growth in 2022-2023. EV registrations in March 2023 were again driven by electric two-wheelers, occupying almost 62% of all the EV sales. Let's move to the electric three-wheelers market, or E3V. It mainly stands for e-rickshaws, e-cargo bikes, and post e-bikes. For instance, electric three-wheelers hold significant market share in India's EV market, more than 59% for the passenger segment and an additional 4% for the cargo segment in 2022. In Europe, we observe an increasing number of E3V design and manufacturing startups, which will soon shape the cargo delivery landscape of the region. The third type is E4V, which stands for electric four-wheelers. It includes e-forklifts and other lifts, e-cleaning machines, e-golf carts, e-tractors, e-tractor mowers, e-buggies, and airport ground support equipment and transport, and so on. Such industries as manufacturing, distribution, leisure, and utility are the top worldwide industries using E4Vs. So let's take e-forklift as a type and example to showcase the global market division. From this table, we can conclude that full electric forklifts will replace petrol-powered forklifts within some time, because even now it occupies about 65% of the market. I would like to emphasize that 15% of all the vehicles in construction, agriculture, and mining industries nowadays are electric, but EVs are estimated to become the majority in these spheres by 2029. So, taking into consideration the growing potential of the global e-mobility market, the question is, how can Teltonika trackers help you conquer the e-mobility market? Let's find out. Please meet the FMB930 and TFT100 trackers. E-mobility, high voltage support, 2G GPS trackers. FMB930 is a basic and compact tracking device for electric vehicles. TFT is a more advanced and multifunctional tracker for EVs and electric heavy machinery. Right now, let's have a more precise look at the trackers one by one. Let me highlight first that FMB930 was developed on the basis of Teltonika's bestseller, FMB920, just with a few improvements. FMB930's key aspects include 10 to 90 volts power supply voltage range to cover the market of up to 72 volt vehicles. Unique power off sleep mode to reduce the power consumption to less than 1 mAh. 2 digital outputs. It's the first basic program device with 2 digital outputs to expand usage scenarios like immobilizer, lock-unlock function, buzzer, alarm lights, and so on. Device dimensions. The tracker keeps compatibility of Teltonika's bestseller, has compact size and light weight. The slim design of FMB930 allows it to be integrated into various e-vehicles. Bluetooth interface for external devices and low energy sensors connection. And photo web platform support to allow you update the firmware and do configuration over the air. Now let's have TFT100's overview. So first of all, there is a wide power supply voltage range of 10 to 97 volts to integrate the tracker into various high voltage heavy machinery. Also, there is more interfaces choice like CAN, RS232, RS485, and UART interfaces to read data without additional firmware changes or any externally connected devices. If there is a need for more usage scenarios, then TFT is a perfect solution as it has 2 analog inputs, 4 digital inputs, and 2 digital outputs. Though TFT100 is not as small and light as FMB930, it has IP67 rated casing to ensure smooth monitoring even in harsh environmental conditions. And nice to have is various e-scooter models support, for example, Escol, Gavix, Nuke, and different forklift model support. Just like in FMB930, there is Bluetooth and photo web platform support. Now, let's have a look at the common and unique features of FMB930 and TFT100 to help you better understand which tracker suits your business needs. This table showcases the unique features that both devices have. So, as you can see, FMB930 has fewer interfaces, which is enough for basic GPS tracking purposes, like location, speed, or remote engine cutoff via SMS or GPRS commands, while TFT100 has more interfaces, which allows having more application scenarios. TFT100 has an internal high-capacity backup battery of 1800 mAh for all the use cases where battery storage is important to keep the device online. Even though FMB930 has a small battery, its unique power-off sleep mode allows to lower the power consumption up to 1 mAh. Even with such a small battery, the device can operate autonomously up to 1 week, while data is being sent once in 24 hours, depending on tracking conditions, of course. Ingress protection rating. So TFT100's IP67 ingress protection allows the device to be mounted on the outside of the vehicle, and FMB930's IP54 ingress protection implies the device shall be mounted on the vehicle's inside and be fully protected. Now let's explore what's in common. So, these common features and scenarios allow you to cover many crucial aspects of the use cases. For example, immobilizer, to allow the user to start the scooter or forklift only after authorization. Please pay attention that immobilizer scenario is available for both trackers. However, in FMB930's case, it works only with iBeacons. Crash detection, for example, allows to notify the user about the crash event. Jamming detection allows to inform the user when the GSM signal is unnaturally suppressed. Towing detection allows to notify the user when the transport is taken away. And of course, there are way more scenarios. In case you have got any technical questions at this point and some things are not clear to you, please let us know in the Q&A tab below. So, FMB930 features that bring additional value are as follows. The most valuable ones are marked with stars. So, those are 10 to 90 volts, so wide power supply voltage range to cover the market of most vehicles. Also low power consumption. According to our internal test results, FMB930 can operate up to 1 week from internal battery when data is being sent once a day and device is in power-off sleep mode. Of course, it depends on tracking conditions, location, and where device is installed, but the number of days that we reached is a huge achievement and value. So keeping in mind that battery is so small. Wake up at the event. Even when the power off sleep mode is enabled, the FMB930 is smart enough to detect any possible threats. If movement, ignition, or external power is detected, the tracker will wake up and send notification about a potential loss. And last but not least is 2 digital outputs for external devices connectivity to have even wider device usage scenarios. Here you can see a list of TFT100 features that bring additional value, and the most valuable are marked with stars. As you can see, those are different communication interfaces choice. So by choosing the required interface beforehand, customer wouldn't need to do any additional firmware changes and save his time, efforts, and expenses. Manual CAN is a very valuable feature because customer can read CAN data without requiring to develop custom CAN protocol, and it also means that if you have the protocol of the vehicle, you can configure everything by yourself and there is no need to wait for our assistance, for example. Besides, the tracker can be utilized in various use cases and bring customers extra revenue. Wide power supply voltage range means that if a client wants to use the tracker with high voltage vehicles, he doesn't need to add a voltage converter. So it saves expenses on unnecessary components and implementation time. In case some aspects are not very clear, feel free to clear it out by raising questions in the Q&A tab below. Now, let's explore top use cases to cover with FMB930 and TFT100 and the related success stories. Please note that FMB930 is the newly launched device, so we have observed that this tracker is gaining popularity in a number of European countries and Asia. It's quite affordable yet reliable basic tracker. We see a great potential for this tracker in this niche and are highly encouraging you to try it out for your business needs. Let's start. Let's begin with the most common basic track and trace use case. So FMB930 is the perfect solution for basic tracking, like to know the real-time location, vehicle speed, and ignition status. Also, the tracker is widely used for theft prevention. Thanks to jamming detection functionality, additional alarms can be enabled, and the tracker can block the vehicle engine starter. As a result, eliminate the engine starting at all. Besides, for basic track and trace use case, there are a few more important scenarios like immobilizer, when only authorized drivers can start the vehicle. Please note that FMB930 can do it only with Bluetooth beacons, but TFT100 has a wide range of possibilities for driver identification. Also, driver behavior monitoring to prevent aggressive driving by monitoring such parameters as speeding, harsh cornering, braking, or acceleration. And last but not least, crash detection to help enhance safety and identify the reasons of crash event. Let's move to the next use case. So the second use case is e-scooter and e-moped sharing. This use case we can virtually divide into basic track and trace with FMB930 and a more advanced with TFT100. So with the FMB930 you can cover the core aspects of the sharing services monitoring like location, speed, crash detection, and so on. Using TFT100, fleet managers can read CAN bus data and send commands in the CAN network to perform specific actions, monitor the battery health and performance aspects, identify maintenance and repair issues, and optimize the usage of the e-fleet. Auto and manual geofence functionality increases the manager's control and awareness of the fleet, resulting in the potential theft prevention. For example, if the predefined geofence boundary is crossed, an instant notification such as alarm buzzer, SMS, or other can be activated to notify a person in charge to prevent the loss. Let me share the related success story from India. So one client of ours started the e-scooter and e-bike sharing business with providing insurance guarantee from manufacturers. He chose TFT100 tracker due to its high voltage support and manual CAN interface, which allowed him implementing his own electric vehicle communication protocols instead of doing it via IoT manufacturers. It has saved a lot of implementation time and allowed having more control over the tracker's configuration process. Let's move on. Next use case is dedicated to forklift and industrial equipment management. So mainly this use case is about preventing unauthorized access, monitoring driver performance, detecting crashes, and implementing predictive maintenance measures. So FMB930 suits for e-forklift and industrial equipment basic tracking when location, crash detection, or road optimization is needed. Besides, it perfectly works for industrial equipment work hour monitoring. For example, one client from Central Europe successfully integrated FMB930 in indoor cleaning machinery fleet to optimize the roads and track working time. One more Teltonika's client from Western Europe easily installed TFT100 into the e-forklift fleet due to its high voltage support. He improved forklift operators' work performance with the help of driver behavior monitoring and crash detection features, also forbade unauthorized access to the forklifts with immobilizer feature. Besides, he took advantage of CAN-bus data reading to ensure predictive maintenance and, as a result, prevented unexpected downtime and ensured high productivity. Fourth use case on the list is cargo delivery use case. Mostly E2Vs and E3Vs are used for this purpose. So the essence of this use case is to monitor driver behavior, enable the e-vehicles immobilization and driver authentication, and be aware of the predictive maintenance with both FMB930 and TFT100 trackers. For instance, there is a customer success story from the North Europe region. There is an e-mobility solutions development startup who chose TFT100 due to its manual CAN functionality to read powertrain ECU data for their delivery bikes to ensure timely predictive maintenance. High voltage support of TFT100 was a crucial aspect for integration with their e-fleet. Besides, they took advantage of such accelerometer scenarios like eco and green driving, crash detection, overspeeding to perform e-fleet usage analysis. They also used digital output to control the loss of cargo space. As a result, the client managed to increase the fleet security, improved overall vehicle efficiency, and increased cargo bike service accountability. Next use case is about airport territory ground support equipment management. So FMB930 and TFT100 ensure the equipment is always ready to operate due to such functionality as crash detection, unplugging, towing, or excessive idling. Both trackers increase safety measures due to immobilizer and overspeeding notification features, and of course allow to know the exact location of this or that support equipment. Please note that battery management of the airport vehicles is possible only with TFT100. And last but not least is BMS monitoring. So this use case is related to TFT100 only, but we could not avoid mentioning it because it's a widespread use case nowadays. So in this use case, TFT100 is widely used for safety precaution and vehicle recovery. For instance, if BMS sends any faulty alerts like overheating alert, BMS cutoff is activated via TFT100 from the cloud. So BMS cuts off the voltage supply from the battery and keeps it in the idle mode till the alarm is cleared, and also notifies the user about it. So thus, many hazardous situations like incidents are minimized or even avoided at all. Quite popular use case is about rental solutions here. So for instance, when the user payments are overdue, the command is sent via TFT100 to perform the BMS cutoff remotely. As a result, end users are not able to control the engine and vehicle itself. Thus, fleet owners can have full control of their fleet, even remotely. As for success stories, BMS monitoring is quite widespread in South Asian countries and India, for example. Of course, there are way more use cases and application areas where FMB930 and TFT100 could help. So we do hope that you can extend your business portfolio and help your customers to cover even more use cases with these trackers. We have came up to the end of our presentation. We hope that this webinar was helpful and insightful to you, and I wish you conquer the e-mobility market with the TFT100 and FMB930 trackers. Have a nice week, and bye-bye.